let's be honest with ourselves for a minute. We all know New Year's resolutions don't work. We have all made them and we have all broken them, probably many, many, many times over. So if you've ever thought, why can't I just stick to the things I say I want? This episode is for you. The problem isn't discipline or motivation. The problem is the resolution. It's how we're setting our goals for the year. So, in this episode, instead of resolutions, we're choosing something much more powerful, something that will help you stay aligned, grounded, and intentional all year long. So, if you actually want this year to be different, you've got to do things differently. And that is what we're diving into today. Hey friend, welcome to the show. So just as a reminder, today is part 2 of my Goal Setting That Sticks series. This is a 6-week series where I am walking you through my exact process on how to set goals that are actually going to stick, goals that you will actually follow through on week after week, month after month, the entire year long. But it is very important that you start with part 1. So if you haven't listened to part 1 yet, I want you to stop right now, go back to the previous episode, because everything in this process is really important and we don't want to skip any steps. So go back to episode 10, listen to that one, and then come back here. And just as important as it is to listen to all 6 episodes in order, I want you to make sure you grab your free goal setting planner. It is linked in the show notes and it is following every episode. And sure, you can just listen to the podcast or watch it on YouTube and you will get some value out of it. But if you want this work to really land, if you really want it to change how you think, how you choose, and most importantly, how you follow through, you really need to do both. Listen to the episodes and then do the part in the planner that goes alongside it. You can think about it like the difference between watching a cooking show and actually cooking the thing, right? You may be inspired watching a cooking show. It may give you some new ideas, but the real transformation happens when you get yourself into the kitchen, when you get your hands dirty, when you chop the vegetables, when you do the mixing, when you create this new thing, right? Totally different experiences, totally different results. Same thing here. So yes, it's a little bit of a time commitment for you, but aren't you worth that? Aren't your goals for this next year worth that? Prioritize what matters and go do this thing, because a year from now, you are going to be so glad that you did. All right, let's dive into part 2. This is our anti-resolution approach. Resolutions do not work. And we know that. We have made them over and over and over. Every January, we say things like, I'm going to work out more. I'm going to eat healthier. I'm going to declutter my house. I'm going to stay more organized. And then honestly, by mid-February, most of it's gone. Studies consistently show that the majority of New Year's resolutions are abandoned within the first few weeks of the year. And it's no wonder, right? We're throwing things out there on a whim. And we're not really putting in the time and the effort and the thought work needed to get us to the life that we really want. Hell, most of the time, we're not even thinking about the life we really want. We're just haphazardly choosing resolutions, and it's usually based on resolutions we've had in the past or things we see our friends doing. And we skip all of the identity work. We focus on the outcome without changing who we are or who we're becoming in that process. And we start kind of from a place of pressure, right? There's this peer pressure thing like, what's your resolution? People are posting it all over Facebook and everywhere, right? And you feel like you need to chime in. Well, I am giving you permission right now. You do not need to chime in. Let everyone else set their resolutions like they always have. But this year, we are doing it different. We are not going to repeat that same cycle. So this year, instead of starting with resolutions, instead of starting with a list of to-dos and outcomes, we are going to start by choosing our theme. So, your theme for the coming year could be a word, it could be a phrase, it could be a full sentence. There's no really right or wrong format, but it does need to be something that you can remember really easily. What matters most here is that your theme for the year is going to become your North Star. It's going to be something that you can come back to when you're tired, when you're feeling overwhelmed, when you're unsure about the decision you should make, and just, when you've had a rough day or a rough week. Your theme is something that helps you zoom out and really focus in on who you want to be in this next year. It's like a year-long mantra. And you want to be careful with the language you choose, right? We don't want something that's really rigid or sounds controlling. We want something that sounds grounded, that sounds supportive, that feels like it's guiding you in the right direction. And this is all about identity work. And this is where future you comes in. So, future you work is, well, what it sounds like. It's thinking about future you, the future version of yourself, and using that vision of your future self to help you set goals now and become her now. There is a ton of research on this, psychology research and neuroscience research, and it shows that our brains are constantly predicting the future and making decisions based on who we believe ourselves to be. We don't change through willpower or motivation. We change when our identity changes. And it's why we see so many people set big goals and then never reach them. It's why so many people want something, but they never follow through on the actions it takes to get them there. It's because their self-image isn't there yet. You've probably heard stories of people who are broke and then they win the lottery. And within a year, they're broke again. Or you'll see someone who's had a weight loss surgery. And within a couple of years, they've gained all the weight back. One of the reasons that this happens is because their identity has not changed. With the lottery example, sure, their money changed, right? But it turns out that their being broke really was more of an identity problem than a money problem. And that's proven when they get the money and then they quickly self-sabotage, right? They spend it all, they give it away, they do whatever to get themselves back to how they actually see themselves. And same thing with the weight loss surgery. If someone has identified for years and years, sometimes their whole life, as being an overweight person, it is very hard for them to suddenly identify as a thin person if they haven't done any identity work. So I read a ton of personal growth books and self-development books. And one of my favorites is a book called Be Your Future Self Now. And in that book, it talks about this directly. He explains that when you mentally and emotionally connect with your future self, your present day decisions start to shift automatically. And James Clear talks about this too in Atomic Habits, one of my favorite books of all time. He says that lasting change doesn't come from setting better goals. It comes from becoming a different kind of person. And that's exactly what this exercise is designed to do. Inside your planner, you are going to find a link to a future you visualization. Now, just to make it super easy on everybody, I'm going to link that in the show notes as well directly, because I realized that if you downloaded the planner and you printed it off, you're not going to easily be able to click on the link, right? But let me tell you, this future you visualization is so powerful. And the whole point of it is to observe the version of you who is already living the life that you want. You're going to notice what she's like, how she carries herself. You're going to notice what is important to her and what she has released. I use this exact visualization with my coaching clients, and it's honestly one of the most powerful tools I think that I use. It creates powerful shifts. Sometimes people get really emotional, and always they get clarity. They realize things that they've been ignoring, and they're able to feel what they've been craving. Because when you slow down and actually experience future you, not just think about her. It becomes much easier to see what you want more of and what you want less of. And more importantly, it becomes easier for you to follow through now to get you there. It allows you to see yourself as her, as the person who can do this thing, who can reach these goals, who can follow through. And we're going to do this future you visualization here because the theme that you choose for the year, it is not coming from your head. It is going to come from your heart. It comes from the felt experience of who you are becoming. When you can connect with future you, patterns will start to emerge. You're going to just notice all the things. You'll notice what matters to her. You'll notice what she no longer tolerates. You'll notice how she treats her time and her energy and her body, and just what feels aligned and what feels off. And from that place, choosing your theme for the year is going to become really clear. So just to show you what this is like in real life, I have done this for myself. Even though I'm the one that recorded the future you visualization, believe it or not, I actually get something out of doing it as well. So in the past, some of my themes have been massive action. And that was a year where I really wanted to get a lot of stuff done. Last year, my theme was do it anyway. I was starting a brand new business, and frankly, I was scared. There was a lot of self-doubt. There was a lot that I didn't know. There was a lot that I had to learn, and that is all scary. So my theme of do it anyway became that North Star. When I felt unsure, do it anyway. When my imposter syndrome would bubble up, do it anyway. And that really helped push me forward all year long. This coming year, my theme is be the blueprint. And y'all, I'm telling you, I feel it in my soul. So when you land on the right theme for you, you will feel it. It won't just sound good. It will feel good to you. It will feel right. So for me, be the blueprint is really all about you guys. I'm over here talking about coaching tools and principles. I'm talking about gratitude and making that an important part of your day. I'm talking about staying connected to your future self. I'm talking about navigating midlife in an intentional, aligned way, dealing with perimenopause and identity shifts, and healing through childhood trauma. And if I am going to talk about those things to you, I need to walk the walk. And in my future you visualization, let me tell you, future me walks that walk. She is calmly confident. She prioritizes family and friends and peace and freedom. She has built a joy-filled life very intentionally, and she helps others do the same. So be the blueprint is how I tap into that. And it reminds me that my life is the example of all of these things that I'm talking to you about, right? Like I want to embody the things that I am telling you about, not just talk about it. So when you start thinking about your theme, feel free to just scribble out a bunch of words. It may take a few tries to land on the right one. But like I said before, it's not just about sounding good. It's going to feel good. It's going to feel true to you when you land on it. And it should also feel just a little scary. Not anxiety-inducing, horribly overwhelming scary, but scary enough that you know it's going to push you a little, right? It's going to stretch you. It's calling you forward. If it feels completely safe, it's probably a little too small. And if it feels paralyzing, it's probably a little too much. The right theme is going to feel like, yes, this is the woman I am becoming. Now, once you have your theme, once you've identified your word, your phrase, or your sentence, we're not going to just tuck it away and never look at it again. Remember, this is going to be your North Star. We want it there to help guide you all throughout the year. So I encourage you to put it everywhere. Put it on the lock screen of your phone. Put it on your bathroom mirror. Put a sticky note on your fridge. Put it on your computer. If you have a paper planner like I do, write it at the beginning of every month. Let it be in your face all the time. You want to let it anchor you and let it guide your decisions. And as always, with everything, this is not about perfection. It's just about intention. And it doesn't have to sound good to anyone else. So before I wrap up, I want to ask you for a favor. If you are listening to the podcast, please take a second, scroll down and give me that 5 stars and write a review if you have a second. Or if you're watching on YouTube, subscribe and go leave a comment. I would love to hear from you, and all of that just helps the show get discovered by other women like us who need this stuff. And hey, if you have a friend that you know is trying to set her goals for the year, and I mean, honestly, who isn't doing that right now? Forward this on to her. You guys can check in with each other all year and make sure that you're staying on track. All right, so next week, we're going to continue to build on this process. We're going to take our theme and we're going to start to transition into what it is we actually want to get done over the next year. So again, if you have not grabbed the planner, go get it. Go through part 2 and take your time with this. Go through that future you visualization. It's only like 8 minutes long. So find 8 minutes and a quiet space and do it. And then write down what you experience. And I'll link that in the show notes as well. All right, that's all I've got for today, y'all. I will see you next week for part 3. In the meantime, go be fabulous. Make sure you take my free Shift Happens quiz to find out what you're really craving next in midlife. Or if you think you might be ready to dive into one-on-one coaching with me, book a free clarity call. You'll find both links right below the video.